So first of all, I just want to say hello to everyone, and hello if anyone's watching us on Facebook. My name is, sorry, I'm just getting all this. Let me just get this going here. Something wrong. Here we go. Okay. Good afternoon. Usually I say good morning because we're normally in the morning, but today we are in the afternoon here anyway. We're in the afternoon. What time is it for you guys there?
It's Hawaii. It's 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Good morning. So,
good
morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Airtime, a podcast brought to you by Elevate Aviation. I am your host, Kendra Kincaid. I'm an air traffic controller and the founder of Elevate Aviation, and I am pleased to be able to bring you all kinds of stories from inside the aviation industry. And today, indeed, we have a unique story. I was scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw a friend's page, and on it was a picture of these women that we have on today, and they are actually from Hawaii. I'm so jealous. I just want to be there right now. So we're gonna go and talk to people from Hawaii today and find out what they're doing, and they're helping Santa. So we're going to find out what they're doing exactly and why. So thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Okay. So already you guys are so much fun. I can tell that right away. And then I'm thinking, why wouldn't they be? They're living in Hawaii. Okay, let's start. Let's just sort of start and introduce yourself. So Nobi, why don't we start with you? Like, who are you? Have you always lived in Hawaii?
Oh gosh, that's going to be a long story. I don't think
that's okay. Enough, we have time. We have time.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, my name is Nobi Buntin. I actually have been all around the world. I was born in California, and then I moved to Japan, and I lived there for 34 years. And then after the Fukushima disaster, I evacuated to Hawaii and kind of restarted my life. I was a flight attendant at Delta Airlines for a very brief time. And I decided maybe peanuts, pretzels, and Coke wasn't my thing. And I wanted to, maybe be in the cockpit. So I kind of shifted gears, and I started flying in 2015, started training then. I'm a commercial multi-engine rated pilot at the moment. Still working on a lot of, certificates. It's never ending. And I kind of regret that I went into aviation because it's just so deep and it's never ending.
No, she didn't actually just say that. Plug your ears, plug your ears. I know it's a long, hard journey to become a pilot.
Right. Yeah. So, and then throughout training, it's like, well, training is all good and hunky dory, but how can I make it more meaningful? And after the pandemic, in March, I started sewing masks, and then I was like, wait a minute, like we need to help the community. We need to get these masks to the outer islands because they don't have fabric stores on some of the outer islands. It's, they're stuck maybe like in the 60s or 70s. And because of the pandemic, a lot of the general stores have actually, gone out of business. So it's getting worse and worse because of the pandemic. During my training flights, I'm working on my CFI right now. I decided as I fly in the right seat, I'm going to put the masks in the back with a whole bunch of other essential items and then transport them to the outer islands. So
Wow.
That's what got it started in March. And then these beautiful girls coincidentally texted me, emailed me. I want to say like in October, and they're like, is there something we can do to get involved? And then this whole thing snowballed. So I'll pass it over to Marina and Rainey, and then they can tell how they got involved in this crazy madness.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, Marina, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Marina. I am currently a student at UH Manoa. I'm also flying at the airport at Georgia's Aviation School. I'm a private pilot at this moment. I'm a student pilot at this moment working on my private pilot certification. I guess like just how we started this Keiki Christmas charity. I do remember indeed texting Nobi like, oh, like I wanna get involved, you know, like what is there to do? Like what can we do? And coincidentally, Rainey and our other committee member, Stephanie, we all got together and we kind of just brainstormed. We were like, what can we do right now? And we came up with this Keiki Christmas charity idea. And it literally all started from this one idea, and it grew to this huge charity, and we got so much donations. We exceeded our goal of raising $4,000. We actually got about $6,000 in total of just only donations, and we got so many toy donations. So shout out to everybody that lended a helping hand and
So are you from Hawaii? Were you your
yes,
whole life?
Born and raised here. Yeah. Yeah.
So you were saying earlier you've never seen snow. You've never been in snow
before. No. Well, I've seen it like when it was on the ground, but it was all like icy and like really dirty. I haven't like been in like while it was like snowing, you know, like I think we like, really briefly drove through like I think it was somewhere in Arizona. I think somewhere in Arizona. I don't remember. I think it might have been either I think it was in Cali actually. We like really briefly drove through
So safe to say you've never gone skiing?
Never gone skiing. Nope.
Well, so do you want to at all, or is it no? I'm good. I love Hawaii. I'm good.
I do. I really do wanna. I wanna like explore. I wanna go to all these.
We can do an exchange. You come to my house for 2 weeks. I'll go to your house for 2 weeks in the winter in February. So, or maybe even January. You get a great experience of winter.
Oh my God, nice. Okay, the only thing is you have to take care of my dogs.
Done. I have a dog too, so you won't miss your dogs. You can look after my dog.
Nice. Great.
Oh my gosh. Anytime you want to do that, you just let me know and you can come here and go to the mountains, go skiing. I would definitely be the winner in that exchange, I think. Okay, Rainey, hello, and tell us about yourself. I hear Rainey's not actually your real name too.
No, it isn't. So my actual name is Yarena, but I go by Rainy because it's a little easier, you know, so to pronounce, and I've just had the nickname for a while. So kind of similar to Nobi's story, mine is a little crazy too. I'm originally from Ukraine, so it snows a lot. So I miss snow in a way. Yeah. But I came to the States when I was very young, and it was actually in Nebraska where I was able to fly for a little bit. Yeah, it was an anonymous donor that actually helped me out, and my mom and I got to experience it for the first time. Like I went up in the air and I just couldn't believe it. I think I was in high school, and so since then I've been hooked on that. And you know, I came to Hawaii kind of on my own just for school, and it wasn't until years later that I actually became a member of the 99s and the Women in Aviation. So it's been a long journey, and I'm really glad that I'm able to kind of bring that dream back out and just try to work on it again. And so, okay, so again, that's the thing with the snow being from such a cold place, and, you know, Christmas, I love Christmas. So that's probably one of the reasons too, where I really wanted to like be involved in this is, you know, the spirit of Christmas, the joy, you know, just to imagine little kiddos, you know, tearing up presents, and they get something so awesome, you know, that they didn't even expect. So yeah, I think it's.
So why, if you can talk about it, why did a donor help you? And they helped you go for a flight? Is that what happened?
So you know, it was financial reasons, but like they knew that I wasn't able to afford it, you know, as much. And so I'm not too sure. I know I flew with my teacher from high school. He was my physics teacher and also a flight instructor, and he was handing out brochures to like students at, you know, during class periods or whatnot. And so I was like, oh man, I'd never thought I would able to do that. And finally I was able to do like the discovery flight. And then after that, I'm not sure if it was him or there's another gentleman I have in mind that I think maybe he was like the one who did this. So till this day, I don't know. And I'm very thankful. So if this ever gets back to the person that did this, it's what kind of started that dream, the joy for aviation.
So you didn't grow up wanting to get into aviation, wanting to fly. It was really that teacher that made the difference for you.
Because I mean, I feel like if I was to still be, where, I don't know where life would have taken me, but I'm not sure if I would have ever gotten into aviation, of the possibilities that were ahead. So I think it was more so, here in Nebraska.
Yeah. Don't listen to Nobi.
It is a long journey though, for sure. But, I think it's, the passion that you have for it, that your power charge.
That's the thing. So what do you guys think like right now? So tell me about COVID in Hawaii. Like in Edmonton, Alberta, where I am right now, we're shut down again. It's the worst that it's ever been, and everything's basically shut down. We're not supposed to be with anyone at Christmas, just your own household. Is that what it's like down there right now, or what's it like?
Well, at this moment, we're actually at tier 2. We've been having double digits of like cases. As of right now, I believe we, like all the restaurants and stuff are open at this moment. We can have group gatherings of 5 people. It's pretty much, it's kind of open. I don't think it's as bad as where you are now. We can still have group gatherings like in all.
Yeah, but Hawaii has always been very conservative from the get-go. We cut off all tourism, I think it was probably like in April and May. And the restaurants, was takeout only for a long time. And now the restaurants have reopened per se, but it's, 6 feet. And then I want to say the capacity is at about 20 to 30%. So I really appreciate what the government has done for us, protecting our health. It's a struggle. I'd rather be making money. But more importantly, I'd rather have, my loved ones and my family members and my friends healthy and alive. So there's always that, the balance there. So
do you think like with vacation, so as you know, winter outside my door, people dreaming about going to Hawaii, and I know not a lot of people, maybe there's not as many people traveling this year as they were before, but I think Hawaii is still open for us to go to. Do you guys worry about that or not worry about that, about tourists coming in over the winter months and coming into Hawaii?
It is open, but there are a lot of restrictions. Like, you have to have a COVID test and it has to be within that 72 window, and it must be negative, and you upload your information. And without that, you're going to have to quarantine in a hotel for 2 weeks. So there are a lot of, guidelines that they have set. So I think we're pretty good. Rainey, what do you think?
Well, actually, I think I was just going to comment just on that too, is that there are guidelines that people have to follow, just as we would to travel to places that had the same things. So the testing, the quarantine, if you don't opt for the testing option. So yeah, I think that anyone that comes in would probably be great, to have the tourism to start back up. But it's just that they have to probably, go through everything that is being asked of the people. Right. And even us too, even if we travel anywhere and we do come back, it's the same thing as well, for us to either do the testing or do the quarantine or whatnot. It's just to be safe to everyone that's, on the islands or.
Yeah. Nobi, what is that picture behind you?
Oh, this is a picture that I took on one of my flights. Isn't it gorgeous?
Oh, well, and so Perry has a question here, and that leads into it perfectly. He says, What is the best part about flying over Hawaii? What type of weather do you normally encounter?
Oh my goodness. Winds.
Yeah, I guess.
Normally, like on a normal day, they're going to be gusting at about 20. They're kind of an issue when it gets to about 30. 35 is when we kind of throw the towel in. So you get really good at, crosswind landings. And I did a lot of training actually on the mainland, and it was really interesting because it was harder to fly without the winds. Like in a no wind situation, it's like, how do I land the darn plane? Like there's no wind, So it's fascinating. And you're constantly looking at, the radar. Because, rain comes in and out. We have skulls, it's crazy. You have to be on your toes. And then Marina, you guys just went to Hilo yesterday and delivered gifts to the children in Hilo. Tell us about that flight, Marina.
Yeah, so we actually landed and delivered the toys in Kona instead because Hilo was like, the weather there was a huge cloud over. It was raining, and the air traffic control, we diverted to Kona, and they were telling us like, oh, like good decision, it's like you can hardly see, it's raining.
Is that scary when you're flying in those conditions?
Well,
are you like, get me out of this airplane, get me on the ground?
Well, I mean, if we had a decision, it was either to divert to Kona or Hilo, and we were kind of like looking at it from a distance, and we were kind of giving it the benefit of the doubt. So we just kept flying, and it wasn't getting any better. So we were like, oh no, can we divert the flight to Kona? So, so that was that. But
who's we when you say we? Just one other person, or was there a bunch?
Yeah, so it was 3 of us. There was me, Stephanie, our other committee member, and Tanya. She's a member of the 99s, the Aloha Chapter 99s, and she was actually our CFI for the flight.
Okay. So before we get into actually what you guys are doing, let me just read this off. So today I'm joined by my guest that you've just met to discuss how the Aloha Chapter 99, so you guys are the Aloha Chapter 99s. If I was to belong to a chapter of 99s, the Aloha Chapter is what I would want to belong to, are setting forth to bring Christmas spirit to the neighboring islands of Hawaii and their children this December. In response to the pandemic, a group of ambitious women, you guys, women aviators, sewed masks and transported them along with other essential items to the outer islands of Hawaii since March. Aviators will utilize their skills once again to move mountains and share Christmas cheer. So let's dive into that. So we know how it started. So Nobi, you decided, let's get these masks to people who need them. And that was in March. So what has happened since March? So you two then called and the committees formed inside the chapter. Is that how it started?
Yeah, so I got the calls or the texts and the emails in October, I want to say. And instead of, working with I'm the chapter chair, by the way.
Okay.
But instead of, working
Madam
with
Chair.
the individuals one-on-one, I do get an abundance of, texts and emails. And a lot of them, unfortunately, will, text me or email me and say, I'm interested. And then you reach out and then you don't hear back. But these amazing women were right there. We want to do it. How do we get our hands dirty? Let me get dirty. Let's get this done. And like, Marina was saying, we had one meeting. It was a brainstorming meeting. What can we do? What purpose? And what do we want to focus on, and what is meaningful with COVID in mind? Usually our Aloha chapter does a fundraiser, and we raise funds for scholarships, aviation scholarships that our members can utilize for their training. But when we all came together, the four of us were like, you know, that doesn't feel right this year. With COVID, it shouldn't be about us. Let's think about how we can help others. We're all out of work, or at that point we were all out of work. So it's like, yeah, we are suffering, but there are other people who are suffering even more. So we don't have money to donate, but we do have skill. We have time, we have knowledge, we have connections. So let's utilize what we have and do philanthropy within reason, without going bankrupt, without going into debt. And we used those skills to, push forward and make it a success.
Wow. And so the key is to deliver masks. Is that the number one key still for this December? Or is there like, it looks like you have some presents in some of the pictures. So how did that happen to go from the masks to the pictures? Just, you had this brainstorming and said, let's deliver gifts. And how do you choose? How do you pick where you're going to deliver the gifts?
Right. So that one, again, it was a committee, decision. We wanted to focus on the outer islands because there's a lack of resources. They don't have general stores. A lot of the islands don't. So we thought hard and long about where we were going to, which islands we would focus on, and which communities. And the community, our committee member, Stephanie, who's not here today, she kind of took the ball and ran with it. She did a lot of research. And Hilo, there was a homeless group, it's called the Project Hawaii, and they work with the homeless children. And she contacted them, and there's about 1,500 folks that Project Hawaii assists. But they said that, the teens were the ones that always got kind of like forgotten, the teens and tweens during the holidays. So, toys were received for the younger kids, but it was the older kids that really needed our attention. So there's 200 teens in Hilo. So the committee decided that we would try to raise funds so we could give gift cards to these children so they could buy essentials like socks and underwear, t-shirts, or whatever they need to. So that was for them. And then for the children on Lanai, it was a smaller group, about 15. So we did a toy fundraiser or a toy collection for those children. And then for the older kids, we were able to gift them gift cards. But
wow.
Yeah. So, and then it was really cute. We came up with it. It was kind of like a stocking stuffer. So we put candy in there with the gift card, and then one essential item. So a mask went in, or a hand sanitizer. We didn't have, 100, 200 masks or 200 sanitizers, but we had, bug repellent. And so each kid got, one essential item, a gift card, and treats.
Aww.
Yeah.
What a difference. So where Perry's asking, how can I donate from Edmonton? And if I am in Hawaii next December, can I volunteer? Yeah. And then how do you get your donations?
Oh gosh. How did we get our donations, girls?
Venmo.
Venmo, we me and Rainey actually went to the mall here at Ala Moana Center. We went door to door at every single tenant of the shopping center. We would introduce ourselves and kind of let them know more information about the Keiki Christmas charity, and just soliciting donations, asking if they would like to asking if they would like to participate. We also just emailed a bunch of people, and also asking our friend. We also sold Krispy Kreme donuts. That was a hit. Everybody bought so much donuts. And yeah, we just, and I believe that it was a kind of a snowball effect. As we started getting more recognition, a lot of people were kind of asking oh, how can we participate, or you know, more donations started flooding in, and it was great. Yeah.
I think
So,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, no. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Rainy.
just gonna say that I think my favorite part was going into all those malls with the girls. Like I know me and Marina went, all three of us even went to, like with Stephanie as well, our other committee member, and Nobi. And it was like the best part. You get all these butterflies in your stomach and you're ready to go hand out your papers or talk to, you know, all the businesses, and you're like, gosh, I can deliver this. You know, to every story, you know, we tried our best. And I think it was like sometimes we were all shaky, you know, but I think it was like such a blast, you know, like you just go in there and you know your purpose, you know what you're trying to accomplish. And actually throughout this whole process, I was talking to a close friend of mine, and he said, you know, you cannot, like, in a way, like you just have to know that whoever can give and whoever wants to give, they will give. So, you know, that took a lot of pressure off too. But other than that, I think it was just so much fun to just make it like a fun experience with everyone, all our committee girls and everyone else who wanted to join and do this and just kind of roll with the ball.
Wow. Yeah, I would think that'd be the hardest part. I mean, I have a nonprofit, and the asking can sometimes be so hard,
It is.
especially if you're not used to it, right? Like it takes a, you know, and I'm sure you guys aren't all used to it. So this is a new thing. And like you said, the butterflies in your stomach. And so I did want to ask that, like, what was your favorite thing? And Rainy, if you have another favorite thing, I don't know, but if you guys, what was your, do you guys have a special moment that throughout this whole process that really stands out above everything else? Marina, do you have something?
I think my favorite aspect of about this whole thing was, you know, as soon as we landed in Hilo yesterday,
Kona.
Kona. As soon as we landed in Kona yesterday, we delivered the stocking stuffer boxes. They were all wrapped and everything, and we loaded it in the car. And her name was Trudy, she's a member of Project Hawaii, and her face was just like, oh my gosh, she was so thankful. And she's like, thank you so much. And I think she was super moved, and like she was really emotional about it, and she was just so thankful. And I think that was like, gave me like my moment. I was like, oh my God, this is why we did it, you know. And I like would love to see like the reaction from the teens and tweens of Project Hawaii also. I'm like unconsciously like somewhere in the Big Island, the kids are opening it up and they're like smiling, and you know, it's just nice to know that.
Oh, it's crazy, you know, like you start one thing, you just don't know where it's going to go. Right. And who knows where this is going to go from here. Nobi, how about you? Like, do you have a moment that stands out?
Oh, gosh, there's so many moments. I would like to put a big shout out, you know, of course, for the committee. What we actually, to make it, because you had mentioned, Kendra, that, you know, and I'm kind of that way too. It's hard for me to go in and say, hey, can you give me a handout? So what I kind of did is, you know, when the committee met via Zoom, you know, people would say, oh, I want to help. Well, okay, what are you comfortable doing? What is your talent? And utilizing that talent so they feel comfortable and they're able to blossom. And I think that giving them that key or that opportunity, I think that's what made everything just explode in a way. So, you know, Rainy and Marina, they were, you know, the go-getters. All right, go get them. And then we had Anna, who was kind of like, I'm not too comfortable doing that. And so she did a lot of the writing for us. Heather was, you know, she's training and working on her check ride. So I was kind of like, okay, well, you stay at home, pull out your iPad, get out, you know, all the businesses that are on Lagoon Drive that are associated with aviation, and you just write donation letters to each and every one of them, address them. And she was like, I can do that. Like I'm totally cool with that. So they were able to take the ball and run with it, and they were comfortable with their task. And then you asked, your question was, when did I feel touched and when was I moved? I was in charge of the incoming, how, the funds in a way, the finances. And, I would receive Venmo donations, or I would see the Venmo donations, and there were, little comments that you would read. And there's so many that just, oh gosh, it made me cry every night. We got donations from Japan, from the UK, from Canada, the mainland. And it wasn't the amount that, touched you in a way. It was the passion. There was a teenager who just moved from Hawaii to California. He's starting his life, he's renting an apartment, he bought a car, he's starting a new job, and he sent us $5. And to me, that just, it just gives you, goosebumps. We got a donation from someone on the mainland. It was, $40 from a teenager who read the article in AOPA about what we were doing. And he sent his allowance so he could help other teenagers, homeless teenagers. So it was the heartfelt donations. And every single one of them was heartfelt and special in so many different levels. That's where it was like, wow, we are crushing it. I can't put it in words. It was just so phenomenal to see the whole community come together. And then it goes back to, wow, these girls, really knew what to focus on and what the community needed. So, proud for my team, and so honored to have a community that's so, wanting and eager to help. So that was my big carrot.
Aww. One time, sort of when I started getting into volunteering in my life, I was volunteering for the Make-A-Wish program. Do you guys have that there as well? Yeah.
Yes.
So I was volunteering for that, and I was just loving it. And somebody said to me, why do you volunteer so much? And I was like, well, it's kind of selfish. And they're like, oh, yeah. It's not selfish. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't know that it's kind of selfish in a good way, you haven't experienced it, because what you get right from giving, like, and I see it in you guys all know, like, you get so much from giving.
It's very therapeutic. Yeah. And I think because of COVID, we all needed a distraction, and we were all kind of like, everything was put into perspective. $10 isn't a lot, but it can change it's not going to change their life, but it could change how they see things, and what they can take away from it. So I always try to find, the positive, even in the most negative situations. So yeah, COVID, it really sucks. I mean, there's no better word.
Yeah.
But we can find something. We can find a silver lining, I think. And I think these girls are the perfect example.
Oh. I just wanted to kind of add that with the, with the volunteering and everything, I think there's even some studies done on that subject to show that it brings people like a purpose in life or meaningfulness. So I think, sometimes maybe we overlook that little detail, but like, why is it that we do certain things, why we do it? But maybe it's like, for some, it brings them that meaningfulness in life, that what they're doing is significant. So I think that's.
Yeah. I just want to, hammer that home for people who are watching now or listening later on the podcast, like giving, like, we're talking here about what you guys are doing down there, but that bigger picture of giving and how therapeutic is such a good word to use. And like, I remember the first wish I gave the little girl. If we're giving a wish, those kids aren't in a good place in their life. And she was really sick, and I made this wish to make her dream better, and she changed my life. without ever
Right.
knowing it. Like she'll never know it, but that first wish I ever did just changed the whole direction of my life. And now, like, even being here today with you guys would not have happened if it wasn't for what she did in my life without even knowing it. And like that's the impact of, and you guys did this year, like 5 years from now, like the impact of this, like who knows, right? Like, you know, somebody donated a gift to you for that flight, Rainey. Who knows if that might, you know, have a lot to do with why you're giving today, right? And
Absolutely. It's like a
just,
trickle effect, yeah? Someone
totally.
touches your life and you touch the next person's, and it just kind of follows through and keeps moving.
Oh, totally. So just to finish Perry's question, if somebody wants to donate, so if Perry wants to donate from Edmonton, can he donate? And where can he donate to? And then the second part of it was, if he comes down, can he volunteer? And I'm going to second that question. If I come down, if you need volunteers, let me know.
Well, if you like for it to get crazy, there's always something. We will find something for you. Rainey, Marina, and Stephanie have seen my crazy moments. I can get pretty
awesome.
creative. So.
Is that a whole other podcast?
That's a whole other podcast.
Now I want to know.
Like, oh, I got an idea. And then
we're like, oh no, should we be
scared?
We're like, oh my God, should we be scared or should we be like happy?
Nobi, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You need all kinds of people on the team. So that, oh my gosh, that's good.
Yes. But yes, if you'd like to help us out, we would appreciate it. And of course, all of this Aloha will go to the children in need. The Venmo account that we have set up, it's at fly-girls. There's a black hibiscus. If you're looking for, you know, the Venmo ID, it's a black hibiscus with a little tiny plane flying out of the hibiscus. But again, it's at fly-girls. Or you could visit alohachapter.org and you could learn more about what we're doing. And I think we have a pretty good template. And you can see, I would put, you know, daily updates as to how much we have raised. I think maybe was it maybe 3 weeks ago, we decided we kind of had a feeling we weren't going to make our $4,000 mark. We kind of went in a little small kind, as we say here, in a small kind panic mode, and are like, oh shoot, what are we going to do? We need 4,000. And Marina's like, go, 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 go. And then the crazy idea, oh, let's do Krispy Kreme. So,
good.
But yeah, we've met our goal. There's lots of really cool ideas. There's images. And I think, you know, utilizing social media is a really good way to, you know, reach out to the community. So if somebody wants to do something similar like this, it's not hard at all. You just need about, you know, 5 people who are extremely motivated. And it's not magic. It's just determination.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And an idea.
And the ideas. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hey, can you guys give me, whoever wants to, can you give me a deeper snapshot of what it looks like on these outer islands? The people that you're helping, like, cause you know, a lot of people that are sitting where, you know, in places like me are going, it's Hawaii. Why do they need help? It's Hawaii. It's beautiful and it's sunny and everything's perfect. And there's nothing, like, it's just this magical place. So like, can you give us a snapshot of what it's like? You said there's not a lot of stores or no stores. I didn't quite catch that part of it.
Yeah, on Lanai, there used to be one general store on that island. But because of COVID, that store has folded. So there, of course, there's no Walmart, there's no Target. So it's meaningless to give them gift certificates. I think they have maybe one Starbucks, but there is little to nothing there. So what they have is, you know, what a lot of them are, right, you know, a lot of them are actually hunting. I met one of the volunteers who picked up masks and school supplies. I met her at the airport, and she was like, you know, the general store is closed, so now we are forced to hunting. And she was, you know, hunting for deer. So it's very, I don't know. I haven't lived there, so it's hard to say, but, you know, parts of Molokai, it depends on where you know, what part you're going to, but it's very basic. A lot of I hear that electricity, you know, stopped for a while. The barges, so we have, you know, ships that go in, you know, between Oahu and Lanai and Molokai, those kind of came to a stop. And they do whenever there's kind of a crisis that happens. So they don't have supplies. So it's, you know, fishing, hunting, and, you know, maybe, you know, farming in their backyard. So
Wow.
Yeah, like there's always a price to pay. You know, the weather is beautiful. But, you know, for us on Oahu, like Hawaii is the most expensive state in America. It's one of the most expensive. So a lot of us are used to, you know, hustling, and, you know, we have 2 or 3 jobs. And I think that's why the committee was so special in a way, is because now, you know, we don't have work, or if we do have work, we have only 1 job compared to, you know, the 3 jobs that we had prior to the pandemic. So we're used to hustling and getting things done. And it gave us an opportunity to kind of, we're slowing down, you know, we're forced to slow down. But that made it possible in a way, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
I believe like it's very common, like, that a lot of people live in poverty here. It's, you know, it's very poverty stricken. Like there's a lot of people living in like tents, you know, or like, you know, there's like these different like there's a lot of people living in housing. I also do live in housing, like public housing. So it's honestly very common, and it's you know, a lot of people live in like their cars, or, you know, just because like adding on to what Nobi said, like the price of living here is just like, it's crazy, you know, it's very hard to keep up with. And in many situations, like a lot of parents aren't able to provide for their kids. So such like, you know, different corporations, like different companies like Project Hawaii, they I would like Stephanie was kind of giving us you know, more information about them, and they I believe they said like a fact about it, there was 23,000 homeless children living in like these types of situations and like on the Big Island. They also said like, you know, many of them live in tents and cars as well, you know, in their cars. So a lot of kids, you know, they don't have all the resources, and, you know, living in shelters and stuff is all they have, you know. So like, you know, as Nobi said, like, you know, it may be like, oh, nice beaches and rainbows, and, you know, like it's Hawaii. Everybody has like this like idea of Hawaii being like paradise, but you know, if you really look in between the lines, it's actually, you know, not all rainbows and like, you know, a walk in the park, or how they would say.
Rainey, did you want to add anything? Oh, sorry, Nobi.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that because Hawaii, you know, it's a tropical climate, there are quite a few states that will send their homeless on a one-way ticket to Hawaii. So there is another issue that we are dealing with, and that's the reason why we have so many homeless. They're not from Hawaii. They're actually immigrating from other states. The states are purchasing tickets on, you know, the air carriers and bringing them over here. And, you know, we're happy to help. But honestly, it does put a little bit more on our shoulders. And it's not a complaint, but that's the real picture. So it's not anybody's choice. And I don't believe that, somebody decides, oh, guess what? I'm going to be homeless tomorrow. It's not a choice that they make, but it is reality, and it's painful. Rainey?
Well, just to kind of, I guess, to sum it all up, homelessness is an issue out here on Hawaii. But then, like Nobi said too, the hustle is real, and it's the people that maybe see this, see the issues that are happening around us, and they know that they can make a difference, and they're willing to do something for that cause, then why not do it? And so that's kind of where we came in, we're the little elves, yay. So yeah, so to know that there are kids out there that may not even have a nice Christmas, it was, heartbreaking. So to kind of overcome that, that's where kind of we put this together, this idea. And it went far, we all didn't realize it, but it went so far that we're all so proud, for everything that we've done throughout the whole process. Now we're able to change a kid's life or a kid's experience of Christmas.
Yeah. So. I also love that if any of them see you flying in, that moment might be the moment that changes their life. That one day that you might meet someone and say, that was you in the airplane? That changed my life. I saw this airplane fly in and thought, I want to do that. You never know. You never know. What are you guys, Trevor, I know you have a question. I'm going to get to it right away. What are you guys doing next year or from this moment for, like, after Christmas is over, what next?
Nobi, you got ideas?
Nobi, okay, we have time for about 10 of the things in your head. No.
Yeah, Nobi's like, well, I had these ideas.
Oh, sister, I don't know if we want to go there. I do. I was thinking, what was it? Valentine's. But then I got to make sure that there's a healthy balance so I don't, kill my elves. And it's so great. I have a grown son, and then I have a daughter who's in high school. They're both super sharp, and they reel me back in. They're like, Mom, wait a minute. I think Valentine's might be a little too close. You better let everybody rest a little bit. So crazy ideas to come, but I will check the temperature and see how eager everybody is to get back involved. Next year, we have a beautiful template. We know what we can improve on. It's going to be hard to improve on because these guys really killed it. They crushed it. So, but yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger, a lot better, and a lot easier. So I'm excited.
So pretty much any ideas we get, you can be one of the first to know about it.
I want to come down. I want to come down and go on one of your on one of your flights and just experience it. Oh my goodness, you guys are just so just incredible. You guys are incredible people, just helping other people. We need more people that want to help people. Right. We just, the world just keep on going, and it's addictive. And Nobi, one of the things that you're doing here, which I just think is fantastic, is you've created a platform now for other people to be able to come and give and be part of it. Because some people are like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I want to do something, but I don't know what I want to do. And then boom, something like this happens. And now there's this platform that people can come and go, oh, that's what I want to do. And then go and change their life. So, okay, I want to get to Trevor's question. This is more of an aviation. How big is the role of general aviation during the pandemic? He said, any Canadian twin otters operating for short takeoff and landing at smaller island strips and for the distribution of COVID supplies? When you volunteer and give, you don't need more to be thankful for. You just need to be more thankful. Oh, he's so nice. So how was your general aviation over this whole pandemic? You guys, did I hear this right, that none of you are actually Nobi, you two are both students, right? Rainey and Marina. And Nobi, you're not working now, right? Because of the pandemic. Yeah. So did they, what did it look like? Like, how did the aviation sort of flow through this pandemic there?
Well, aviation, well, I mean, we have a couple of inner island carriers, but it kind of morphed into cargo after the pandemic. Okay, so they no more passengers, so they turned their commercial seats into like cargo planes. And even for GA, I had to have a letter to provide to security upon arrival stating that I was volunteering. And actually I did a mission in Hilo. I called Tower, I called security, you know, a day or two before, and I was like, this is my tail number. I'm coming in with, you know, donations, da, 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 da. I gave them the whole 9 yards so that they were well prepared and able to receive me with open arms. However, I get there and we were chased down by security, and it was quite traumatic. But, you know, there were a lot of rules to abide by. You know, you cannot, you know, you can pass your donations through the gate, but the gate can be only open for 30 seconds at a time. So we would have a security guard there at the gate, and 30 seconds, we would pass all of our donations through. It would close, the security guard would open it again and again. 30 seconds you had to, you know, so it was intervals of 30 seconds to get your items outside of the airport. But, you know, we could not leave the general aviation area, the parking area. So it was different, but, you know, you adjust to it. You have to adjust to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, so Marina, what's the dream for you going forward in your career?
I guess for me, I was originally aiming to go for like commercial, to fly commercial. But you know, as of right now, I was like so blessed by you know, working with Nobi and closely with the 99s. You know, I really do want to give back. I really do want to give back to them, and you know, I've gotten so much support from them, like this chapter, like from Tanya and from Nobi as well. They helped me a lot with like scholarships, and I've made it like a goal of mine to also get involved more with like the 99s, and I guess just to maybe you know, play one of those roles as well, like Nobi and Tanya, to like help others with their scholarships, or you know, just kind of give back, just because I'm, you know, I was so grateful for their support. And you know, it kind of made me like, wow, like, you know, they're not just there for their own selfish, you know, like wanting to get up in the aviation world. They're there to like help other women, or you know, other aviators, you know, and like along their journey, you know. So I do want to make it like a goal of mine to one day like help others in aviation as well.
I know that you'll find so many opportunities to do that too, in your own unique way. You will. Rainey, how about you? What's your dream?
I've got some pretty wild dreams.
That's good.
I mean, but for the most part right now, just kind of getting back into it. And it just so happened to be that I came across, you know, these 2 chapters, you know, just by doing some research and getting into it, and look at, you know, where it has brought my life and my journey. So doing things like this and everything, it's amazing. I love it. But, you know, just knowing that I'm back into the field of aviation, it's getting me all excited. You know, I'm all amped up. I'm like, all right, one step forward. Keep going. So
yeah, one step at a time. Nobi, can you just tell me, for those who don't know, maybe they've never heard of it before, what is the 99s? What are the 99s?
So the 99s is a establishment or a foundation or an organization that Amelia Earhart and 98 other women formed approximately 90 years ago. And it's a support group for women aviators, supporting them on so many levels through events like this. When you have a check ride that maybe the outcome wasn't to, you know, your standards, or whatever, however you want to say that. Helping people, you know, networking. So it's a beautiful way to connect with other aviators. Aviation is, I think it's one of the trickiest occupations, or it's unforgiving in a way. And the best way to cope with that is to find your tribe. And you need to find people that you can really connect with honestly. It's because aviation is such a small community, you do have to be careful about what you do and what you say and how you present yourself. Your failures or disappointments, those you kind of have to keep in the closet. However, it's really important to find your tribe of aviators who are willing to share their disappointments. And that's how you can cope, because you are going to come to a hurdle, and that hurdle, and I think aviators are type A. We don't like to make mistakes. We're not going to go in and say, oh, I don't care, I'll just fly and see how it goes. We're not that kind of people. So when we do, you know, it's like, OMG, it's a big impact on us. And not that we have a big ego, but it's kind of hard. We're very hard on ourselves. So, you know, finding people that you can communicate with and, you know, share your honesty is how you're going to overcome and get over those disappointments.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I know, you know, I have so much respect for the organization, the 99s, and all the different chapters. And now I got to learn about another chapter today in Hawaii, where I wish I was right now. Oh my goodness. I can't wait, because if I ever make it there again, if we're ever allowed, well, we will be allowed to fly again. I'm going to look you guys up, and we'll have to go for, hopefully we'll be able to sit out in a patio and have a glass of wine together.
Awesome.
Let's hope for that. Yeah.
A bottle of wine.
Yeah, we'll need it after being cooped up in our homes for so long. Especially here, we're cooped up in the winter. It's even, well, some people love it. I shouldn't make it sound so bad, because some people absolutely love it. I just prefer the heat. You guys, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing about what you guys are doing, and sharing about, you know, why it matters so much to give, and what that means to everyone individually to be able to give, and how it makes our lives better. And you guys are the perfect group to have on here right before Christmas. Hopefully, you know, people watching this, the Christmas spirit will be stirred a little bit more inside them, and they can, if they are able, they might be able to look around and say, how can I help my neighbor? Or how can I help someone who needs it, whether, you know, they know that I'm helping them or not, like someone did in your life, Rainey. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I hope this is not the last time that we meet.
Thank you so much,
Kendra. Not either.
It's such a phenomenal honor to be, you know, on your show. We really appreciate everything. And, you know, it's exactly what these girls need. They really deserve a big round of applause for it's hundreds and hundreds of hours of, you know, phenomenal work. So thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much for having
us. I can see why you guys love Nobi too. Like what a tremendous leader you are. I can tell. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you guys so much. Again, my name is Kendra Kincaid. I am so pleased to be able to bring you some of these stories with Elevate Aviation and our webinar and podcast series, Airtime. So you can find us on podcast channels now, and follow us on more webinars. Thank you for being here, and we'll Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Male Kalikimaka.
That's right. Mele
Do, do,
Kalikimaka.
do. There's a song of that. I like it. Okay. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much.